Alright, so we're gonna try doing this. I've been trying to do this for over a week, working out some kinks. I apologize if the sound quality isn't very good in this video. I am getting a mic here soon. I just have to go grab it, and I'm not anywhere close to it right now. So I will have it for the next video or so here. So just bear with me on the sound for this first one or two videos I'm going to be doing. So basically, I have started a pull list. I have started actually a pretty extensive pull list that I will be picking up books every week, which I haven't done in years. Basically because of Rebirth. Now these aren't going to be. There's going to be some that are going to be added to, and there's going to be some that I'll probably drop as we go. But this is where I'm going to be starting. Right now, I only have DC books. I think it's just because Rebirth happened, and that's kind of where I wanted to go with it. And I haven't been necessarily following Marvel. I'm so behind that I don't want to pick up single issues. I've been kind of following them in trades. So maybe I'll have some Marvel trades coming out for you here soon. But right now, this is just my pull list. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm 1 week behind, so I'm going to do one video of last week's books, and then I'm going to do a video of this week's books. Because since I was working with this camera stuff and trying to figure out how to make it work, I wasn't able to do a video. So, first book I want to start out with is Superman number 52. You're not going to be able to see it very well, I apologize. Now, this book came out last week, and this is basically the conclusion of Superman and the New 52. I haven't been following this. I dropped the New 52 altogether 2 years ago. I dropped Superman probably, I don't know. Here's the last one I dropped, but yeah, I'm pretty behind. So I don't really know who they're fighting in this. I did pick up a few issues in between. I did pick up the first issue or two when John Romita Jr. joined and Jeff Johns was writing. I couldn't really get into it. I think it was just because I wasn't into the New 52 altogether. I don't think it was necessarily the art or the writing. But this was actually okay. It was a kind of easy for me to jump into, surprisingly, considering we're in the 8th issue of the Final Days of Superman arc, and we are on issue 52 of Superman altogether. The art is, I've never seen this artist before. He's pretty good. I think he's the one who's going to be doing Superman or Action Comics. I don't remember which. He looks very similar to that, but I'm not sure. But basically, Superman's fighting this dude who thinks he's Superman, very convinced he's Superman, but he has these energy powers that are making him glow and catch on fire, and he's kind of unstoppable. And somehow Superman has gotten kryptonite poisoning from it. So he's, a little more, he's got nothing to lose, really. And Wonder Woman, Supergirl, and Batman are in this issue as well, trying to stop it. Basically, Superman's just fighting for his life. It's very similar to the Doomsday story with that. He even flies him up into space at one point and things like that. But he goes all the way up there, and Superman, pre-52 Superman, post-crisis Superman, appears in his black suit, which I haven't been reading Lois and Clark either. I know the story. I had to do my research on it, but I know what's going on in it. I'm going to be picking up that trade when it comes out. That just completely came out of nowhere. It was kind of a sleeper hit that no one really thought about and knew about, so it kind of led to no one knowing and reading it. I had no idea that came out, and I really want to read it. Same with American Alien. I'll also be reviewing that when that comes out in trade, but that doesn't come out until about fall, so that might be a little while. But basically, he post-crisis Superman is trying to help New 52 Superman, and New 52 Superman, as Superman would be, says, you know, thanks for the help, but this is my fight, and I gotta do this myself. I don't want anyone else getting hurt. And he pushes him away back to Earth. So basically, you have Superman doing his solar flare, I think is what this is, which is that new power they gave him, where he basically drains all his energy, and that's kind of the way he stops him with a mix of his kryptonite poisoning, so it has kryptonite within it. And he beats this guy. I don't know if he kills him. He just kind of disappears. That's what you would assume in this giant explosion. And he falls to Earth. And this is kind of a cool shot here. Pre-Crisis Superman. That's the ad right there. Let me see here. This one here. Pre-52, post-Crisis Superman catches him. And everyone he finally reveals himself to Batman and Wonder Woman and Lana Lang and Supergirl, who are all there. And everyone's wondering who he is, and he says, it's not important because he's in hiding. Flies away. Batman looks very suspicious, so obviously there's going to be something happening with that, but it's not revealed yet. And there's kind of this just really rushed few panels of Superman saying goodbye to everyone. Lois shows up out of nowhere. Batman talks to him. Superman, says goodbye to Wonder Woman because of their relationship, and he bursts and turns into some weird ash kind of thing. And then there's basically the repercussions. Lex Luthor is getting together a suit of armor that looks similar to Superman's, but it's like his Lex armor. It's showing all the people throughout the arcs that he has been dealing with. A lot of people are upset, sad, It ends with Superman writing an article calling Superman Hero's Life. This book was okay. I thought it was... I was actually pretty impressed with how kind of self-contained it was. I think they kind of knew people would be kind of picking this up because it is one of the ones that directly ties into Rebirth. So I think they tried to make it so it wasn't super confusing for everyone. The art's pretty good. It's very comic booky. It almost seems like they don't fully touch up the coloring in a way that gives it a shine, which for some reason I wouldn't like, but I like it in this. I think it works pretty well. Yeah, and so this is basically just a reason for them to, move on with what's going on here. So that's Superman number 52. Next, of course, along with the Rebirth trend, I picked up Justice League number 50. Now, this one was a little harder to figure out what was going on. This has been the Darkseid War, which has been going on for 10 issues. This convinced me to pick up this arc, which I will be probably reviewing in trade here shortly. It's in 2 parts, but I kind of want to read this. This actually interested me quite a bit, more than I expected. I thought this was going to be something I had to kind of flip through just to see what would tie into New 52. I ended up reading the whole book. So what I'm getting from this is, the whole charade with Darkseid trying to make Earth into Apocalypse. And they've been battling, and basically the Justice League have become... the powers of the gods have been transferred to the Justice League. So they kind of give you this nice little rundown of who's who. So Lex Luthor is the god of Apocalypse, Shazam is the god of gods, which is kind of a redundant thing there. But Batman is the god of knowledge, he's in the Metron chair. The Flash is the god of death, and Superman the god of strength. I thought this was a dumb, when this was first coming out and I saw Batman in the Metron chair as a god, I thought this was the dumbest thing they could have done. And I didn't give it a chance to read it or anything, but it actually works because within the confines of the story, it works better than I expected. And so then there's this woman named Grail, who's the daughter of Darkseid, and Darkseid, who I guess slept with an Amazon. I don't know how that happened. I don't know who would have done that. They're going to kind of... I think this is the biggest tie-in into Rebirth, is they're going to explain some of that. But basically, she wants power. And, you know, they bring in the anti-life equation in. It's a giant epic story that I haven't read. So a lot of this stuff I'm not going to go through because it's something you have to read, you know, 9 issues before this to be able to understand what's going on. But the first thing I want to say is the art is fantastic. This Jason Fabok, I've never heard of him. Maybe he's been popular throughout the New 52 or somewhere outside of DC, but this is the first I've heard of him. This art is absolutely incredible. I love the way he draws the characters. I love the way he draws action. This book got me excited. I mean, it got me really excited for anything else he's going to be doing. And it could be a very mediocre book, I suppose, if the art was bad. Because I do have to say, the story intrigues me, but since I haven't read the whole thing, I don't really know what's going on. So basically, it's the Justice League versus this woman, Grail, and so they're fighting her. It's kind of the last-ditch effort. Miracle Man's in this, which is cool. I remember Jeff Johns talking about how he was going to bring them in there. And it's basically them, you know, it's a lot of back and forth fighting and plans being revealed. Steve Trevor is involved, and Wonder Woman's trying to get him back to. He's kind of in this mind control state. So that's going on, and so it's basically just a big epic battle here going on. A lot of the Green Lanterns come into it. The Flash fights. I mean, it's all in the art here. I mean, it looks awesome to me. I really like it. And then basically she has this baby who she's using to suck up the powers of the gods to create one mega person, I would assume. And so, you know, that's going on. The Syndicate is in this. They've been a part of it from the alternate dimension. And so they've been fighting in this as well. It's very confusing if you haven't read this whole arc. And this got me excited to read it just because it is very epic. It does come off very epic. It ends pretty epically. But there's a lot going on. And then the Justice League loses their, they lose their god powers eventually. Of course, they have to because it's weird. There's this woman Jessica who she is apparently corrupted by this power that is similar to a Green Lantern ring, and she's not bad, she's not evil, but she's it's taking over her, and she basically sacrifices herself to save Flash from the Black Racer, who I love the Black Racer, by the way. He's awesome. And the Black Racer is chasing him, and there's this little hinted moment within this book where, let me see if I can get a good shot of it. The Flash is basically getting chased by Death, and he's saying goodbye, and you get this this little speech bubble here in yellow and red, where you just hear Barry. That's coming up in the next book here. I keep going. We're at 13 minutes already. So basically she sacrifices herself. You think she dies, and the big reveal is Darkseid didn't die. He's back. She's basically mind controlled him though, her father, and he's fighting. And Batman is in the Metron chair, so he's been trying to ask all these questions and things like that. And the Big Barda, and her gang show up and help fight. I mean, they bring in everyone from the New Gods, everyone from the Justice League. It's a lot of characters going on here. And they finally find a way to, destroy Darkseid with the use of Batman's Metron chair. He figures out how they can do it. And you find out that this Jessica Cruz, she didn't actually die sacrificing herself. It really just took out whatever she was being corrupted by was gone. And because of her ability to overcome great fear, the best shot of the book, she becomes a Green Lantern. Now, when they announced that she was going to be in her own book, I was very worried because it didn't seem that interesting to me. But after reading this really got me on board, and I actually picked up Rebirth Green Lanterns #1 because I really wanted to see where that was going. But you know, they kind of tie up all the loose ends, and you find out Darkseid is now a baby, which is very interesting. I don't know how I feel about that going on there. We'll see where that heads. Lex Luthor, you know, he's sitting on the throne. They all, you know, Batman finally finds out, you know, a big spoiler for Rebirth with the Joker, and they kind of start hinting towards that. And then Metron and Owlman are, you know, talking with his chair, and they are discussing Owlman trying to have the chair. And as they're discussing it, they get destroyed, which hints also to Rebirth. So it's a lot of hints towards Rebirth while also tying up this very, very big, epic story that is very confusing if you haven't read the other ones. So I recommend picking it up just for the sake of Rebirth. I also recommend maybe picking up the 2 volumes because I think the story might be good. I will let you know when I review it. Next up is the big one. DC Universe Rebirth. This is the big controversial one everyone's been talking about. I was able to pick this up. I picked up a couple versions of it. I picked up this one. I picked up the alternate cover. I went to the midnight release here. But this has been just very controversial. I've been trying to review this a couple times now, and every time my video's gone crabby and not worked. So I'm kind of tired of talking about it. I mean, I can say I liked it. A lot of people don't. A lot of people do. My comic book store owner, who's been around since before I was born, at this store, he's been able to survive. He's one of the biggest comic book owners, Mayhem Comics, in Ames in Des Moines, Iowa. He was at the midnight release. He said this is the best book DC's come out with in over 20, 30 years. I don't know because I'm only 22, but I liked it a lot. And for him to say that, coming from a cynical comic book owner who really wants these books to be good, but also will be honest if they're not working because he's losing money, I trust his judgment over anyone else's. So I'm sorry, but that tells me something. My favorite parts of this book, I'm not going to go too far into it because everyone's talking. Okay, so we're still in the middle of this. My computer freaked out again. I don't know what's going on, but we were in the middle of talking about Rebirth. The 3 Jokers is where I was getting to. My opinion on it, we'll just have to wait and see. That's something that could be terrible and awful and really could just ruin a lot of stuff, or it could be done very well. They haven't said anything yet. I mean, literally, they talk about it for just for like 1 panel in Justice League, and then they talk about it for about 3 panels in this, and it's really just saying, I don't know what's going on. This is what's going on. There are 3 Jokers running around. So we'll have to wait and see. I could see it going both ways. I have a feeling we're not going to find out about it for a little while. The big reveal that I love, though, is the return of Wally West. Now, this is the only thing that got spoiled for me before I saw the book, and I was ecstatic. I love this character. I cosplayed as this character. He deserves his place in the DC universe, is what I will say, because I think he has earned the right as a Flash almost more than Barry Allen, if not for sure more. Some people could care less about him just because they started with the New 52. I understand that. That's fine. But all I have to say is give some of the Wally West Flash books a try if you haven't read any of them, because they are some of the best Flash stories that you can find. And him, going through the Speed Force, and he's telling us all of these things, and he's kind of the catalyst of what's going on, is amazing. A lot of stuff going on here. He's going in and out. He tells his origin again, goes through the entire backstory of him and Flash and what's going on. Basically explaining how this fits in with Flashpoint, which is cool. He's meeting up with all these people, talking about the Justice Society. We're getting flashes of the Legion of superheroes, which is amazing. The Atom, who I'm so happy to see again, not in his mech suit like in the TV show, just the Atom. So I'm excited where that's going. I don't know what book that's going to be continuing in, but that is amazing. We have Mr. Ted Cord here, which is awesome. The New 52 Blue Beetle's still here, so he's going to be a part of it. I love how they're working with that. My favorite character, one of my favorite characters in DC, who looks amazing, by the way, is Dr. Fate. He's in this, so he's going to be a part of this whole situation somewhere, and he's the Dr. Fate, which is amazing. They're mentioning the Green Lantern's coming up. We have another hint. Pandora from New 52 gets blown away right here, and it looks very similar to a page from another story. They're mourning the loss of the New 52 Superman from Superman number 51. Is that one? Yeah, 51. We're talking about relationships with Green Arrow and Black Canary. We get post-crisis Superman, talking. He runs into a man named Mr. Oz, who a lot of people have theories about. He's pretty interesting. It looks like Aquaman proposes, which is pretty cool. They're talking about love, and then a really heartbreaking scene with Wally and Linda Park, where Wally's trying to have Linda remember him and she doesn't, and it's so crazy. We get a hint that Wally West, the New 52 Wally West, is going to be in this universe still, and we've seen pictures he's going to be Kid Flash, which is nice, and they have a pretty good explanation as to who he is. He's the cousin of Wally. People think it's weird that there are two cousins named Wally, but I know a lot of families who have the same name throughout. I have at least 6 guys named Jim in my family, Jim Jacobson, so that's, not a big deal to me. And then the best part of the book is Wally meeting with Barry, trying to convince him that he is who he is and that they used to know each other, and he accepts his death, and he accepts he just wants to thank Barry for everything he taught him. He wants to thank him and how much he loves him and how he appreciates everything he taught him. And as he's saying goodbye, we have this wonderful moment. We have all this wonderful art, him saying goodbye. And then you finally, down here, have Barry remembering. And I thought Wally was going to be gone at that point. I thought that was just going to be his last hurrah, is having somebody remember. But he pulls him out of it, and you have this heartbreaking yet just so touching scene of Barry for apologizing to Wally for forgetting him. And then the best page in the entire book is Wally and Barry's embrace as they are reunited after so long. I love that, and it ends with Wally trying to explain to Barry what's going on, how it wasn't his fault that that things have changed, that someone has changed the timeline and taken 10 years out, and then you finally get the big reveal of Batman finding the Watchmen button, which is the most controversial part of the book. And then you have a epilogue of the Watchmen characters talking. I'm not going to go too much more into this. It's a big book. A lot of people have already talked about it. I may do another video with my opinions. I have to say this is a wonderful start to a much better universe than what they've had. A lot of things I have reservations about, a lot of things that are very controversial, but overall I am very, 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 very happy with where they're going with this. So, sorry people who hate this, I like it. And that's all I have to say. So, this is the first week of books. I will do an opinion video about go into more detail of the controversy surrounding this. I just wanted to do a quick review that went way longer than I expected. I apologize for that. I had to do a lot of catching up. So the next video will be the first round of Rebirth titles for each character, which I picked up today. So I will see you in the next video.